Welcome back to the Therapy Sessions podcast, episode 20. Nice round number, 20 episodes. We've been doing this, Chris, and we're coming back to you kind of in a weird spot here in the season. We're kind of in between the end of the playoffs and the Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl week, and the beloved, unfortunately, are not playing in the Super Bowl. Think they would have had a decent shot if they would have pulled it out against the Rams, but we can get to that. So, episode 20, Chris, what do you got?
Nick's wrong. We actually live in a pocket universe where the Bears won the divisional game, beat the Rams, traveled up to Seattle, shut out the Seahawks, and then defeated the New England Patriots 46-10. And we're celebrating the Super Bowl championship. Go Bears. We did it. um, no, in reality,
Here we go.
it's been a
There it
crazy.
is.
There it is.
Super Bowl champs.
Let's
Super Bowl
go.
champs, baby.
We did it all because of therapy sessions.
That's
Um,
right.
it's been an interesting 2 weeks. It's been unlike any like January I can remember because usually our Januaries rooting for this team suck, man. It's it's worrying about
Yeah.
hiring coaches and losing guys, and then who are we gonna draft? Like, what are we gonna do with our top 10 draft pick? It's been so nice. Nick is like sending me updates, freaking out about running back coach hiring and like special teams assistants, right? And I keep trying to explain to him that we're rich men now as NFL fans. Like, we don't have to worry about all of this. Our coach is here, our quarterback is here, our defensive coordinator is
Yep.
here. All the rest of it doesn't matter, right? We lost our offensive coordinator, Declan Doyle. Right? I think his name is something Irish.
Yep.
Um,
That's
It
it.
sounds like a bar, his name, and we lost him to the Ravens, but he wasn't the offensive coordinator. He was a glorified administrative assistant. So we'll hire another
Yeah.
one. We lost Eric Bieniemy,
Yep.
he's a very good coach, and it is a loss. But he's a running backs coach. We hired another running backs coach who people say is good. Correct, Nick? What's his name?
Yeah. Eric Studsville, I think is how you pronounce it. Another
Made that up.
Eric. So you just swapped out
Okay.
Eric's. So you went Eric for Eric, and he seems like a no nonsense, in your face kind of guy. Not too dissimilar from Eric Bieniemy, and he has coached like 12 1,000-yard rushers. He goes back all the way to the name Fred Jackson. Does that ring a bell, Chris? Fred Jackson. He
From
coached. He
the
ran for
Bills?
the. Yep. And
He was a
a
Bear
bunch of
running
really
back
good
coach at one
runners.
point, right?
He
Isn't he
was.
come?
He
Yeah.
was. And
Who did he coach? Like, what year
he
was
was
it?
in like 97, 98. He was a receivers coach,
Rashawn
and he
Salam?
coached the legend. He coached the legend Marcus Robinson.
Okay. Out of NFL Europe. So 97 would have been Marcus Robinson, Jeff Graham, and Curtis Conway. That's a pretty
Was
good core. All right, I'll take him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nick,
I
I'm
think it's a
too
good hire.
old. I have too many kids to worry about running backs coaches, and it's a wonderful place to be, man.
Yeah.
This time last year, I was furiously going back and watching like college tape and like draft prospects. Nick, do you know what I watch almost every night when all my family goes to bed for the past 2 weeks?
Maction, because you're sick.
No, no, I keep watching the Bear Packer playoff games. I keep watching all these
Oh,
throws.
I
I can't
love
get
it.
enough of it.
I
I've been
love it.
torturing
Same
my
here.
Packer fan friends every single day. I bring it up I have
Thank
a New
you.
Year's revolution. My New Year's resolution is my Packer fan friends. Every single day I'm sending
Make
them
them suffer.
21-6. Yeah, I'm just going to do it every day.
Good for you.
I might do it for the rest of their
Good for you.
lives. I'm going to outlive probably all of them, right? I'm healthier than them. I live in Wisconsin. I weigh less than them. Um, I'm going to send it to them every day for the rest of their lives, and they deserve it, and we earned it. Um, there's a couple things to kind of, the Super Bowl is this weekend. This game has no juice. Do you know how pissed the league
No,
must be that the
it's
Bears aren't in
terrible.
it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Bears Patriots?
I
Been
said
incredible.
I said on the last
40-year
show that
anniversary.
absolutely, man. I said on the last show that if the Rams lost that game, then nobody would remember they won the Bear divisional game with the Caleb throw. And I think I'll be proven right by that. Nobody will remember this Rams team
I think
ever,
you're right. Yeah.
right? This Bears team just
Yep.
won like multiple NFL awards at some fake award show tonight. They won Protector of the Year, Moment of the Year. What else?
Not fake awards, Chris. Not fake. Okay. Those are legitimate, hard earned awards. So what did they win? I wasn't watching it. I know they won Protector of the Year, Play of the Year, slaying the Packers.
Yes.
What else did they win?
Moment of the year. Like of the entire
So
league, the
wait,
moment of the
so
year.
so did they win Play of the Year and Moment of the Year
I
separately?
think it's the
Or
same
is it
thing.
just all okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a fake award show with a made up award they made up last year. The Toonie thing is cool because it is the first time
It's
they've
really
ever
cool,
had
yeah.
an individual award for an offensive lineman, and it's not fan voting because we always screw that up. Like should Bear fans like ruin fan voting for everyone else. There was like a panel led by Dion Dawkins and like Andrew Whitworth. And of every offensive
Yeah.
lineman in the league,
Yeah.
Joe Tootie was voted the best, right? And we got him for a fourth round pick last year, Nick. And I was sitting on a teams meeting. I think I was either getting yelled at or yelling at somebody when you texted me about it. So thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. Um,
You're welcome.
Last year at this time was a tremendously dark place in the gap between the end of the season and the Super Bowl. Nick, when did the Bears hire Ben Johnson? It was late January.
I remember the date. I'll always
What
remember
was
it,
it? What
Chris.
was it?
January 20th. January 20th.
Okay, so between January 1st and January 20th was an extraordinarily dark time if you were a really, really diehard Bear fan. At least it was for me. Of like really dark
Oh yeah.
times I can remember with this team, to me it was when they signed Mike Lennon. I found that to be really dark. I would also say
Horrible.
possibly one of the bleakest periods of me being a Bear fan was when they signed Andy Dalton and then put out the
Oh,
Andy Dalton QB1 tweet.
I couldn't stand
That
that.
that had
That was
me
terrible.
pretty close to the edge. I would also say when they brought back Nagy and Ryan Pace after a week of not of like interviewing them every day and nobody knew, and that was really dark.
Yeah.
And, like
Yeah.
where there was just no
Yep.
way out, right? The
I
Eberflus,
remember that press conference.
it was
Do you remember the
brutal.
press conference where
It was
Ted
Ted and
Phillips said
George. Yeah.
Ted Phillips said he said he said, "Have we gotten the quarterback right? No. Have we gotten this right? No. Have we gotten that right? No. But aside from that, the rest is all there." It just embodied what was at that time the pure incompetence.
It was truly a thing to live through. The Matt Eberflus Ryan Poles offseason was particularly dark because it was very apparent during that they were considered a bottom barrel franchise of the candidates they were trying to hire. And it's like, Nick, I talked to you this week from like a car dealership about this, but that entire process was also like secretly ran by the league for various reasons, right? That we
Right.
won't get into because we want to get not shadow banned, but like to watch this happen to that team where it was essentially taken over by the league because it couldn't be run properly by this buffoon family that ran it. That we hired Matt Eber. I remember being so bummed out by the Eberflus thing, so bummed out, right?
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and it's just a different world. And so one thing I would say, kind of thinking about it, and one thing you should look at as a Chicago sports fan this week is the McCaskies get a lot of shit, and a lot of it's deserved, right? This is a family that did nothing to have this team. That, whatever you want to look into history, some people would say that George Halas didn't want them to have it. Nick, you're more up on this than me, the wheelings and dealings of how McCaskey's took this team, but it's not nefarious, right? They are the most cash poor owners in the league. They essentially
Yep.
are a small market family operation in a league full of billionaires. But one thing I'll say about George and them is he does love the team and he wants to win, man. And I do. He is
Yes.
a Bear fan.
Yes.
He really is.
And he hates the
And
Packers with a
he,
vengeance.
to me, it's just always a thing that this guy. Do you know what the Peter principle is, Nick?
No, enlighten me.
The Peter principle is a term in business where in any organization, people will be promoted to their highest level of incompetence. Okay. So you do a good job, you get promoted, right? You do a good job, you get promoted. Finally, you get to a job that you can't do. So you don't do a good job, you don't get promoted, but now you just stay in this level. And that's how in business units you get guys in jobs that they can't do, but stick there for too long. So it's hard to combat that. George McCaskey should have never been owning an NFL team, right? Um, a
Right.
big change that's happened is the Kevin Warren thing. And again, what you want to say about his buffoonery or whatever, but the dude is a little bit of the Kevin Warren killed the Pac-10. The Pac-12 or whatever was killed off by Kevin Warren. He got USC when Kevin Warren was the commissioner of the Big Ten before he worked for the Bears.
Right.
And the Big Ten is now the best conference in football. And he did a
It's a
lot of
power,
gnarly
yeah.
stuff behind the scenes. He pissed a lot of people off and he somewhat got ran out of that job because of it. But look where the Big Ten is now. And Kevin Warren
yeah.
has had them operating like a bigger franchise. But my point with George McCaskey is look at the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago White Sox and who owns that team. And the family that owns
Yep.
it and the owner, the Reinsdorfs, right? They are profoundly, profoundly evil sports owners, and that they run it solely as a live event business to richen themselves and their limited partners, right? They don't care about
Mm-hmm.
winning whatsoever. The
Yep.
only point of winning they care about is actually filling the building and selling tickets. So they will spend the least amount on the team they can to to fill the seats. Anybody that goes to a Bulls game or a White Sox game, even if your fans are really really fools and you're hurting the team. George McCaskey is not like that at all, right? I
No.
used to have
No.
arguments with this with guys. Is he evil? Are they just I always just said they were incompetent, right? And it appears that through this like line of the last 2 or 3 years, between these number one picks and Caleb, Kevin Warren, Ben Johnson, that they have these string of moves. I can't figure out if they got lucky, right? Ultimately, I think you look at where we are now. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you, and I think it's something we kind of talked about on one of the earliest pod episodes, and it's something that I strongly believe in is what has transpired here over the course of this past year, and it lines up nicely with what you were just explaining. Is I do think there was a high degree of incompetence in this organization up until when they hired Ben Johnson. What's interesting, though, is Ben Johnson is the head coach. He's not, now, he is the top football decision maker. We know that. That's been made clear. But what's interesting about him
Don't
is.
get into it. Don't. You're going to get a shit.
No, no,
on
no.
you. Don't get
No.
into that term.
No, I'm not.
Don't
I'm not.
use that term.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Give us our third round picks, damn it. I'm not going there. Yep. But what I'm going to say is, and I talked a little bit about this before, in the special forces, in the U.S. Navy SEALs, in the Green Berets, there's this principle called leading. You not only lead down, you not only lead over your direct reports and everyone underneath you, but you lead up. You lead up the ladder.
I have the book too,
okay?
Nick. I'm looking for it. I'm going to show you.
Yeah. Jocko Willink.
Yeah.
I have it too.
You know who else
I
has
have
it?
too.
Ryan
I
Pohl.
think
It's on Ryan Pohl's bookshelf too.
Hold on. This one's actually really good. Right here. Right here.
Okay.
This one's
I'm gonna
good.
find
Discipline
mine.
equals freedom. Okay. So go ahead and show it, Chris. You got it?
It's backwards, Sean.
SEAL Team 6. It's just a little
Yeah.
blurry. SEAL Team 6. So here's the principle is that a good leader, and a generational leader doesn't just lead from the top down. They lead, in Ben's case, they lead up the chain too. They lead up the chain. So Ben is leading this organization from, he's not in the top position of the entire organization. Yes, he's the football decision maker, but he has changed the entire organization because he's leading up the chain and he's essentially running the show, and it's changed everything.
But I think with Ben Johnson, what it really is that Ben Johnson is um, one of the most capable and gifted play callers in the league and in league recent history. And to get
Yeah.
somebody that good at a very important thing in here, right? It fosters belief, right? When you get a guy in here that's really good at that, and it is the most important thing in coaching, probably in all of sports, right? It is the thing where you are in the most control of what's going on in a game, right? And this guy's demonstrably proven now in multiple franchises over half a decade that he's probably the best in the entire league. That means that you do what he says, right? Matt Eberflus was a clown and a goof, right? And
Yeah.
Matt Eberflus was despised by many of his players because of the way that he wouldn't take accountability. And Nick, the hits principle, what is it? The Packers are getting to know it.
The Packers are going to get ready to learn hits, buddy.
What is it?
Oh man, I can't even. It's
Hustle,
what is it? Hustle, intensity. Is it
the
intensity?
ball, the ball, smart.
The ball and smart.
If I
It's not
saw
even
Matt
English.
Eberflus
It's like
walking
talking
down the
toddler
street,
language.
so like I know he's 6'3", he's probably 210, but he's 60 years old. I would beat his ass. I would physically attack him if I saw him walking in like
Absolutely.
Union Station. It would everything. If I saw Tressman, I'd buy him a poutine and a wine, and I would talk to him about his book. I have that too. Uh,
That's okay. We'll save it for
you
another
know,
time.
if I saw Nagy, I'd probably just look the other way. Right? I'll tell you, one time I was sitting eating at a supper club in Wisconsin near my cottage, eating a prime rib, and I looked up and I saw a freshly bearded, recently fired Mike McCarthy by himself eating a prime rib, and I kind of we looked
That's
at each other
awesome.
like the end of The Dark Knight Rises, like Michael Caine and Christian Bale. We gave each other one of these, right?
Yeah.
But no, I would
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have to be restrained from battering Matt Eberflus in my bare hands. But what the hits principle actually was, Nick, don't cut that. Leave that in. You can defend me. Um, what the hits principle
I'll take the legal
actually,
fees.
so everybody thought it was this stupid, goofy acronym, but what it actually was it was a evaluation rubric that they used with the players that they told them would get them paid with extensions, and that by going through these evaluations through the hits principle, they would get scored and graded, and then based on their grades and scores they would get extensions. Did you know that?
Oh,
So these
that's
guys,
ridiculous.
these guys who go out in these games, they kill themselves in the games, right? Shorten every NFL game shortens a player's life by at least a month, right? Like these guys would go through human train wrecks, and then they would sit with Matt Eberflus, who blew the game in his own buffoonery, and then he would get evaluated on like his hustle and his like want and desire, and then they would get like graded down on it. They would get like loafs and stuff, right? And then ultimately, who did Eberflus and Poles extend from any of those guys?
EJ.
Nobody. They traded them all. They got rid of like none of these. The only one was really Jalen Johnson, right?
Okay.
But the difference between these two coaches is when you have a guy that is supposed to be good at a job and he's demonstrably and like completely proven to be good at it, it's easy to follow him. Why is Ben Johnson here?
Caleb. Yeah.
Ryan Poles, man, the jury, he's been here now 5 years. Where is he within NFL general
I
managers?
don't.
He's in the middle of the pack. Go ahead.
This last draft class was an A, man. I mean, you got to give him an A in this last draft
Not
class.
his. It's not his, man.
What do you mean? Oh, you're saying it's Ben's?
Burden and Loveland are Burt. Ryan Poles had just paid a receiver and a tight end the offseason before. That's not what a GM does. Those are Ben Johnson picks. That's Jamison Williams and Sam Laporta, right?
Yeah.
Ozzie was probably his, right? Poles has been demoted. Poles is the personnel man for the head coach, top of the food chain guy, right? And that's a job that he probably should be in. It's probably his Peter Principal spot, the top of his highest incompetence, right? He's a middle of the pack GM. He has hits and misses. Ultimately, his legacy and the greatest thing he did was one, to resist the temptation to move off of Fields in 23, right? We could have
Right.
CJ Stroud or Bryce Young right now, and we don't, thank God. And then to double down and in 24 in that offseason for him to decide simply, I'm taking Caleb no matter what. We don't care what you're gonna do. That took balls and he did it, and he should be commended for that, right?
Yep.
Caleb Williams did not want to come here, right? And Ryan Poles put it in their court to say that's fine, but you're going to have to blow the league up, and they didn't want to do it. Those are the two best moves he made, and it ended up saving his job. The Ben Johnson thing is a miracle for him because if Ben Johnson didn't come here, and had they hired Mike McCarthy, Ryan Poles would be fired, and he would never have a GM title again. If we'll just get into it real quick, Nick, I have a prediction for you. Within the next 2 weeks, the Bears will be awarded 2 picks for Ian Cunningham getting the Falcons job.
You think so?
I think there's a couple reasons why. One, I think it's in the Falcons' best interest to help them with that. And that's where you saw the interview today, correct?
I did. Yeah, with Matt Ryan, or was it? Yeah, it was Matt Ryan.
Two, I think the league is facing a massive amount of backlash and public scrutiny with the hiring cycle and the lack of minority candidates given jobs at like any level, right? So what would they get more bad press for? Giving the picks or not giving the picks? Who would
Not giving
complain? Who would complain about the picks being given?
about the picks being given.
If the Bears got the picks, who would complain about it?
I don't know.
It
The
is
the Bears
not that
rivals. I don't know.
that is not a popular thing that you can complain about, right? I think they'll get it. And that would actually be a really big deal. Those are 2 third-round picks. The Bears' luck drafting third-round picks is terrible, but their luck trading third-round picks is pretty good. Um, Outside of that, we'll just get into an overview of what the offseason looks like for this team, and we'll get into greater breakdowns of it, things like that. Um, we'll do a bigger review of the season maybe next week after the Super Bowl because I've been going back and listening to the early episodes, and it's like a different team we're talking about, like a different lifetime.
Yeah.
Um, but this offseason will be defined by basically kind of 3 roads that this team can go down. This team is full, already basically maxed out, right? One of the great things with Ben Johnson coming here was that the Bears weren't some Cinderella team that came out of nowhere and like won with a bunch of bums that got good. The Bears were a team laden with young first and second round picks and high price free agents. They horrifically underachieved last year, unlike almost few Chicago team, like a handful of Chicago teams ever. What this was a team playing to its pedigree and the back of its baseball cards, right? So this isn't some like flash in the pan, almost like 2001
Right.
was, right? Um, this team next year is going to be starting exclusively first, second round picks and guys making, you know, over 10 million a year. It's possibly by just the raw resources, the best roster in the league. And that's before this offseason. This offseason will have three roads. Road one is you take the Packers route. You go all in and try to win the Super Bowl this year or next. And that would entail going after a major defensive player in the likes of Max Crosby, Miles Garrett, um, Jeffrey Simmons, kind of those three in that category where you have to give out really significant capital, but then you're coming in and you're going to try to win the Super Bowl. Route two is a middle ground. And that would represent like Trey Hendrickson, where you're able to sign him only using cap space, and you're able to keep your picks, and you're able um, to dramatically improve your pass rush while also bringing in your draft picks to backfill, right? Option three is to be as flexible and young as possible and to avoid the temptation of high priced veterans and to keep just injecting young, high draft picks and maybe younger free agents in that replace aging members of a failed core under Eberflus, right? So that looks like keeping all of your draft picks, bringing in another wave of 22, 23-year-olds onto the defense. You know, a lot of this defense was built in 2022. It's 2026. Um, Average NFL careers
Option
are how
two.
long, Nick?
What? 3 years, something like that.
Yeah, right. Um, so
Option two.
those are
Option two is
option.
the way to go. Trey Hendrickson. Save the draft picks. Spend a little bit in the cash. I think they're going to cut a few guys that you and I have talked about.
Restructures, yeah.
To
We'll get into that position by
restructure or cut.
position. Um,
Yep.
you know, and you can say that, right? Until Jay Glazer calls you and says Max Crosby wants to be here and they'll figure something out, right? Because Max Crosby is going to, you're still talking about a cash poor ownership, right? Max Crosby would be the second biggest star in Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trey
Yep.
Hendrickson in his goofy bowl cut could walk through O'Hare relatively anonymous, right? You know, um,
Right.
Miles Garrett would have a mural painted on him, right off the Kennedy. Um, you know, but option three goes. You just have to look at this with Caleb, and with this window is what do you want to do? You want to be option three means that you might be good for a really long time, right? It's a really interesting thing, and I'm happy to have like Jeff King and Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles as like those three guys kind of looking at it. Um, but man, it's crazy because you know in the NFC next year, who do you like?
Um, it's tough. It's wide open. It's wide open. I mean, it's there. It's there for the taking. It really is,
There's
which is great.
We wanted to keep this to a half hour. We're close, and there's just one more thing I wanted to talk about, and it's Caleb. Um, because this is so awesome and it's so new and it's so cool. But I was listening at the gym to like old episodes where I was complaining about not seeing USC Caleb Williams, right?
Yeah.
Um, I went through and I watched an hour highlight. I watched an hour cut up of Caleb Williams' Heisman season um, from USC. So the 2022 season. So his first year at USC, Caleb wins the Heisman, and he is essentially one of the handful of most dominant college players I've ever seen. He's Johnny Manziel without heroin. Um, I watched this tape, and I'll send it to you, Nick. But you watch this tape, and you can start hitting mental checklists. Oh, he did that against the Bengals. He did that against the Giants. It's manifesting here, right? Um,
Yeah.
and it was in shades this year. So this is what to look for. That's so exciting for next year, man. Is like Caleb's rookie year was a little bit of a wash. I never saw him play like that. This year, he really did look like Oklahoma Caleb Williams, which was an awesome player. Okay. Next year, I think you're going to get junior year Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
No, I mean sophomore year Caleb Williams. Sophomore year Caleb Williams was a
Heisman.
force of nature to be reckoned with. Right?
Heisman Caleb. Yep.
Um,
And you saw glimpses of that at the end of the season. Those throws against the Packers, and you got to see some glimpses of that.
when you watch it, the body of work is complete. Nick, do me a favor. Google Josh Allen passing stats.
Yeah, I know Caleb was better.
Well, you spoiled the damn bit.
I know. I'm tired.
Josh
But I
Allen,
do know
25 touchdowns, 10 picks. Caleb, and they had the same yardage. Too,
27.
right around. Yeah.
Caleb 27 and 7. No, Caleb
How
had
many
more
yards?
yards. Caleb had about
Yeah.
Josh had 3,600. Caleb had 3,900.
Josh
Caleb had 300
Allen
more yards.
is the premier best quarterback in the leagues. Don't Google Josh Allen's running stats. Don't Google his rushing touchdowns. Don't worry about that. I forgot I brought it up. This offseason, right? The last time we had an offseason like this was going into 2019. And the offseason crux of it was the defense is going to be awesome. We're going to be really good. I'm actually super excited. We get this guy in year 2 here, right? The offseason that you need to avoid at all costs is last year's Washington offseason. You need to resist the temptation to get a bunch of 30-year-olds in here, right? You need to
Bunch of what?
30-year-olds. You can bring in one. The last thing I'll say is that we need to, as Bear fans, that we need to refocus our attention on the offseason and of team building, as this team always won in the past by having a really strong roster with a middling quarterback almost every single time. 06, 01, really 18, and then a little bit where Cutler was pretty good, but that's it, right? We need to resist the temptation of thinking we need 22 Pro Bowlers or we need 22 really good guys, man. We have a kick-ass all-world quarterback now, right? What you need is you need to support him by protecting him and by attacking the other team's pass rush. Safeties, linebackers, whatever, you're fine. Don't pay them. Don't invest in them. All of the things you need to worry about are about protecting Caleb and stopping the other team's passing game. Rush the passer, protect Caleb. That's it. That's all we have to worry about. You don't have to worry about safeties anymore. We don't have any safeties on the roster right now. Are you aware of that?
Right. Got to re-sign Bayard.
No, you don't. No, you don't, right? He's 32 years old. If you can get a good deal, right? You need a pass
Still
rusher.
a hell of a player. Still a baller.
Left tackle and edge rusher. That's it.
Yeah, but you have more resources than just that. You can.
Those are what
more.
you must. Those are the things you have to have.
Oh,
ready
for sure.
One. And we'll
There's
get
no
into the
question.
machinations of that. I have ideas of it, but this is an exciting offseason. It's an exciting team, and man, the sheer amount of awesome Bears YouTube videos out there. Go enjoy them, Bear fans. You've earned it.
It's awesome. Instagram, YouTube, check them all out. It's awesome.
Nick, Super Bowl, who you got?
Seahawks, easy.
I'm gonna take the Patriots just to create good content.
Ugh.
What do you not like about them?
I don't think they're
I love Drake
that great of a team.
I love Drake May.
I know you do. You're such a fanboy. It makes me sick.
So I watched every Drake May game because I thought it was going to be him or Caleb.
I know. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing about it.
Are you like?
I know you're
Darnold. You're a
Drake May.
Darnold guy.
Oh, I have his jersey. You kidding me? I'm wearing it under this jacket. No, I'm not a Darnold guy. Who's a Darnold guy?
Nick. So Nick is such a Bear.
This is the best.
Fan. All right, let's argue. Go ahead.
This is the best defense in the NFL, the Seahawks. I'm just looking at the team. They're a much better balanced team. Drake May has not played well in the playoffs. He hasn't. I know you love him. He has not played well.
Nick muted my mic because I was beating him in this argument so bad. But
No, wrong. You
Nick is
muted
such a
yourself.
fanboy. Nick is such a Homer fanboy that he does not want the Patriots to win because he's afraid it will hurt Caleb Williams' discourse.
No, that's not true.
That's I guarantee.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
I actually would be more pissed off because of the whole. It's like seeing the Yankees in the World Series. No thanks, I'm good.
It's different
I,
players.
I
I like
but
Vrabel.
it's still the same
I love
bullshit.
Vrabel.
Yeah,
So who
but
do
I
you
mean,
hate,
I don't
Kraft?
know. They haven't been. Have you seen the games they've won? They barely beat the Broncos, who had no quarterback. They've gotten lucky every step
If
of the
they
way
can
in the
win it,
playoffs.
we can win it. But you're right about
Absolutely,
that.
absolutely. Yes, I'm right. Thank you. And their strength of schedule in the regular season was like the worst out of all the playoff teams. So their offensive line is horrible. I know you love their left tackle. He has
No, I
not
don't.
played well.
No, he's fat.
He has not played well. He's a rookie. He's your guy.
Yeah, Will Campbell. I did like him.
Will Campbell. He has not played well. So I think there's a lot of weaknesses on that team. To me, it's just who's the better team, who's the better all-around team. And I really like that safety on the Seahawks, too. He's a stud.
He got hurt himself in practice.
I saw that.
The Patriots have the two best corners in the league against Sam Darnold.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll see.
So we will enjoy the Super Bowl, enjoy the Super Friends and Family. We will return next week with a project I think we discussed where we will review the season and then grade the units, discuss who we'd like back, what we think is in store for each player, and then move into the 2026 NFL offseason.
Yep. And as part of that, we have a special listener request for a topic. We have a fresh request just in from superfan Rob Williams.
Okay.
He was at our live show at Penrose. He has requested that we do, it doesn't have to be a full episode, it'll probably be a segment on the whole stadium debate and what's going on with the stadium. He wants to know what the latest and greatest is. He wants us to get into the politics. He wants us to get into the financing. He wants us to get into the business, and he wants us to get into the planning. So
That
we
may
can do
be
a little bit of
sorted
that
in the next
in the
2
coming
weeks.
Yeah, we might have to do a breaking news.
As
episode
far
on
as that goes, I'll make you a prediction. Nick, where will the Bears be playing in 2030?
I'm still going to say Arlington, although I do think Indiana is making a decently strong push.
I think you're wrong on both.
What are you saying?
I think they're going to be
Geneva?
playing in.
You're you're muted again.
They're going to be playing at Soldier Field, dude.
With a dome over it?
No, nothing will be different. There may be like better Wi-Fi.
Okay, so 2030. I guess I'd push your timeline back. So say 2033. Are you just saying because there's going to be delays?
No, because they have no ability to make it. They can't afford a new stadium. I don't think they want to really move to Indiana. They can't afford the taxes in Arlington Heights. They also can't afford to build the stadium without selling off a chunk of the team. They don't have enough money. They can't afford a stadium without the state helping. The state will not help them unless a Republican gets in office in the next 5 years, which will never happen. And I would be surprised if they're willing to totally relocate. So I think they go with the middle ground as they just stay in Soldier, man. And
I heard it really interesting.
2040, they might be there, dude.
Yeah, it's going to take a while either way, but I heard an interesting idea when I was driving down to the office this week. Caller into sports radio said, "What if you swap the stadium sites? The Bears take the Sox stadium site, which is much bigger and more expansive, and the Sox take the Soldier Field stadium site because they don't get as much attendance at their games.
Which site are you
so the
talking
logistics. where the current Comiskey is, U.S. Cellular, whatever you want to call it,
They'd
Rate
still have to
Field.
build. They'd still have to build a stadium. They don't have enough.
No, they still have to build it,
A modern NFL
but
stadium costs $5 billion.
but the big driving force is they're not leaving the city of Chicago, and the politics are different if you're not leaving the city of Chicago. You have a lot more support from Illinois if you're in the city of Chicago.
Superfan Rob, you need to ask yourself this question as a Bear fan who knows the ownership of this team.
He's not a Bear fan. You know that.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He's a dirty Vikings fan.
So he went through this with Warren there, and it turned out for them, except for all the rioting, burning down the stuff around it. But you need to think about the McCaskey family. What would you, Nick? Would you trust the McCaskies to negotiate putting an in-ground pool for you?
No.
Let's say you got your family and by proxy my family an in-ground pool in that backyard. I could see it. It's a perfect spot. You get a view of the golf course, right? Would you trust the McCaskies to build it and negotiate it for you?
No. Okay. Not at all.
Now, would you trust the McCaskies to negotiate with the Democratic Party of Illinois?
No. That's why you have Kevin Warren, though.
Okay. Would you trust Kevin Warren, Nick, put in a really nice basketball hoop and blacktop for your boy in front of your?
I'm sure he could get it done, but the amount of time it might take him would be the problem.
It would cost you $150,000 if you had Kevin Warren do it. Okay? And you wouldn't even be able to change the height or anything of the thing, right? You're talking about the McCaskey family is going up against the most horrifically corrupt criminal government possibly in world history in Chicago and Illinois. Okay. Nick, where do all of our governors end up?
Jail.
You think the Opus Dei Catholic McCaskies are gonna get one over on the Cook County, man? It's not gonna happen, right? So the McCaskies are gonna be left to make one of three decisions. One is they can make a deal. I mean, there is no deal to be made with Illinois at Arlington Heights because they can't afford to build the stadium. They don't have enough money. They can't build the stadium without public help. They don't have $4 billion. They have $2 billion. The stadium will cost 4 to 5. Okay. Option 2 is they take the Chiefs deal that they got, right, where they spend maybe $500 million or $1 billion, and Indiana does all the rest, and they will do it. It is a Republican. It is a Republican government.
Oh, they will do it.
They absolutely will do it, right?
Yeah.
On top of that, Nick, I just Googled it the other day. How long would it take you from your house,
my gosh. I
get to Soldier Field?
I Googled it too. I might have to give up the season tickets at that point. It's sad. It pains me to say.
It's a 3-minute difference.
It's a what?
It would take you an hour and 27 minutes in normal time to get to Soldier Field, okay? To get to the north parking garage. It would take you an hour and 29 minutes to get to Hammond, Indiana. There's no difference.
You sure about that?
Yes.
You sure about that?
Yeah. Dude, people don't understand that Northwest, most parts of Northwest Indiana is closer to the city than we are, right? Like it's a straight shot on 88. It's no longer of a drive.
I love the reaction though. You just shat your pants when I told you I might have to give up the season tickets. That was a great reaction.
I would buy them from you.
I know you would.
The other thing is if you do really want this team to be really good, Northwest Indiana is the best option for the team competitively because they make an unlimited amount more money. You become the least wealthy team in the NFL to a top 10 within 2 years. And you're able to take that money and you're able to reinvest it in the team. The Bears don't do any void years in contracts. The Bears don't do anything the Eagles, the 49ers, the Cowboys, all these teams put fake years on contracts. They spread out cap hits, right? The Bears never do that. The Bears, So like the Eagles this year doing this. Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying that. The Eagles, Nick, this year, their cap total was like 220 million. Do you know how much they spent in cash on that roster?
250.
350. They spent $100 million
Yeah.
more cash than the cap hits. And it's
Yeah.
because of the creative accounting, because they're able to put fake years on because they'll pay guys to not play for the team. The Bears won't do that. They don't have the money, right? That's what the difference with rich teams and poor teams in the NFL is. The Bears can operate as a bigger market team. We'll get into it, Nick. I'm tired.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to this offseason. We're going to have, I think, some good stuff to talk about. Don't get me started on the stadium. It may be settled before we have our next episode. Nick, what are you drinking?
Subscribe now. Subscribe. I've got a little bit of snow boots left. A little bit of snow boots right here. Oh, look at that haze.
Goofy boots.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Penrose. Go Bears.
Go Bears.